What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Given here today with, for the third day in a row, another Overwatch video. Let me just set the scene for you in this one anyways. We just lost the first round and we literally lost it by a midge's pubic hair. So we were all a little bit salty. But it just was quite an evenly matched game. But what you're about to watch is, without a shadow of a doubt, my best game so far to date in competitive, in terms of just stats and everything that go with it as well. Obviously playing as Soldier 76, and just to kind of say what I like to do when playing as Soldier, it's just all about putting DPS down. It's not so much about aiming to get all the kills, it's about putting as much damage down on somebody as you possibly can to make sure that you help your team out to be able to just eliminate people and get the kills that you need to get. To kind of paint the picture a little bit further for this is obviously the placement matches that we're playing, and I'm playing with Gaming 13, and we were originally playing with his son. Now his son is a Grandmaster at this game, so unfortunately for I think about 5 of the placement matches that we played, the people we were coming up against were like ridiculous. We were coming up against Grandmasters, Platinums, Diamonds, and I'm a gold tier player, so, or silver for the last one anyways, but silver/gold tier player. I still feel like I got fucked over in the placement matches last season, but we got our asses handed to us, absolutely exponentially got our asses handed to us like nobody's business, whilst trying to do the placement matches. I'm hoping though that because both Phil and I, Gaming 13, are sort of lower ranks, it shouldn't, I think I'm right in saying this, it shouldn't penalise us too much in terms of SR and in terms of where it places you, because we're effectively going up against way heavier, or we were going up against way heavier enemies, or more skilled, highly skilled players. And we held our own in a couple of games. We just got fisted in some other games as well. I may have been slightly wrong by one game where Bastion absolutely raped us, for want of a better phrase. I didn't see it too much. The Symmetra thing though, the Symmetra is going to be a pain in the ass now that the damage has been increased to 25 from 21, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one actually goes. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes for competitive moving forwards. I could have potentially been wrong in my misgivings, but we'll see as the competitive actually pans out. This little bit here that we win, this kind of fight to get the point, they actually it gets to 99-99, and then it's basically it goes into overtime, and it's a pretty maniacally intense, I should say, sort of combat to try and get them off the point so we can actually win this first one to bring the scores back to 1-1. And it was just a really fun game. It's one of them weird things that when you play, you're not really paying attention much to how you're doing. You just try to pay attention to focus the team to do as well as what you can do. And for the first time ever, we were actually in game chat rather than being in party chat, and Phil and I were talking and calling bits and pieces out. And one of the things that you may notice while you're watching this gameplay is that when we're trying to get hold of the point in particular, what we don't do is we don't sort of trickle in, which is kind of the accident that these guys kept making at one point, is that they kept trickling in. We tended to sort of all bust onto the point at the same time. There was one time where they all busted together as a group, which you're going to see in the next time around. But they were trickling in pretty much. They were coming in ones and twos, which was making it easier for us to pick everybody off, and just to stop them from being able to take us all off of the point. And we had the advantage in numbers most of the time when it came to this sort of little overtime section here that you're watching, for us to be able to hold the point. But they did trickle a couple of times, and if I can give anybody a bit of advice, which it's pretty much Overwatch 101, when you're trying to cap a point, don't try and be a hero and solo cap it. In this next little section here that you're watching, one of the things that you'll probably notice that I'm doing is I'm kind of staying back a little bit more, and what I'm trying to do is just focus fire, particularly on Ryan, and trying to get damage onto his shield to get his shield down so it doesn't last as long, because he can be an absolute pain in the arse when you're trying to either capture a point and he's stood on there, because that shield can give the enemy team a little bit extra time just to hold it off until more players come in. So what I'm trying to do is just lay down the DPS onto various players before they're actually getting onto the point. So the team that are on the ground, so I think we had a Tracer and the McCree that are on the ground, that I'm putting the damage down to give them the best opportunity to be able to take the people off of the point to allow us to cap it. And you can see here we cap it. Soldier realises he's by himself because Junkrat's been taken out, so there is literally no point in him trying because we've got the numerical advantage, and we all kind of push the point at the same time, which really like massively hugely helps. And from then on in, it was literally just a case of just guarding the point, watching the left and the right sections. You can see a couple of times I go to the left just to make sure that there isn't a flank coming on. And again, as you can see, what I'm trying to do is just lay on the DPS onto people and also take the high ground at the same time as well. So you can actually fire down onto people and just lay as much DPS down as you possibly can just to help your enemy team. That's what I see Soldier as in terms of a character. Yes, he's there to get the kills, and he should be getting the kills, and you should always be coming first in damage. But you need to be mindful of the people that you're playing against and putting down as much DPS as is humanly possible. And again, they've got one Roadhog on the point there, and he bust his ult out straight away and just wasted his ult on all of us when we again had the numerical advantage. So he had about 4 players putting DPS down onto him as well. Gaming 13 actually went to Bastion on this section as well, again just taking the high ground. But he did actually say that your ult goes up rapid in Bastion now, like really rapid when you're putting down damage onto people. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bastion forms up. I am really worried about the whole Bastion, Mercy, Reinhardt, Symmetra kind of combination that we've got the potential to probably see sort of moving forwards. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one flashes out, but then again, it'll be what it'll be at the end of the day. So again, here we are on the point. We've recapped it again, and we're just trying to, as I said, protect it as best as we can do and stop them from pushing in. I think at one point during this section, I did actually say they're going to go for a massive group push at one point, which funnily enough they actually do. So you've got Roadhog hiding right behind the choke point, just trying to hook anybody that comes in. But you can see them, they kind of run forwards, then stop and then move back. And then what happens is, you'll see in a sec, all of them suddenly just appear. So what they're all trying to do is rush the point at the same time. Doing what we would do is trying to get the numerical advantage. Now I'm a bit sneaky here, I'm at 98 on my ult, so I just wait for it to come up. And then once it comes up, flash it, run on, clear the point completely. So really quite a good manoeuvre there. We had people on the left hand side that were flanking and putting down DPS, and then we had the rest of our team that were doing what they needed to do at the same time as well. Won us that little section, so really pleased with the way that one turned out. Just a quick shout out to the Mercy in this game. The Mercy we had was ridiculously good. I mean, stupidly good. Healed me at the right times, buffed me at the right times. It was just absolutely perfect. There's a couple of times when I threw down my health regen when technically I didn't really need to because Mercy was healing me, but it's kind of like an automatic thing. I'm not used to playing without a Mercy knowing what they're doing. The Mercy was phenomenal. She stayed back. She was constantly switching between people and giving them heals and everything. It was fair play to that person that played as Mercy. We tried to, both Phil and I tried to send a message after the game to the person, but because of the settings we couldn't send them a message. We literally just wanted to say, you are literally legendary, just unbelievably good, and it made such a huge difference to the actual game. By the time we managed to cap this point now, I mean they capped it first, but by the time we managed to cap it, and again you'll notice we've jumped down as a group, but by the time we actually managed to cap this point, I'm pretty sure by this point they're kind of feeling the effects of going 1-0 up and then losing 2 straight in a row. So they're a little bit negative in the way that they come forwards, and it just allows us to really take this point nice and quickly without much problems at all. And you'll notice what I do as Soldier on this. I tend to stay sort of a little bit further back again because I see my primary role as just focusing DPS fire on the rest of the enemy team, wasting an ult as usual, and giving the team the best advantage as they possibly can. What we actually do here is we all push up, so we're all kind of focusing as they run into this little room here for the choke point section, and just again trying to put down as much DPS as possible and take everybody out as quickly as is humanly possible. If it gets a little bit fraught with danger, then it's just a case of just run back, get yourself out of harm's way, keep yourself alive, because that respawn time is ridiculous sometimes. It's just a case of keeping yourself alive and then helping the team out from this vantage point. This is a really good vantage point actually, because you can kind of cover 3 angles, flanking from the left hand side, straight in front of you, and flanking from the right hand side as well. So it just seems, like I say, work really well. And just as a team, the actual composition of the team started to work really, really well. Like I said, Phil and I were talking quite a lot throughout this. So we were, and please forgive me, I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination or a grandmaster player, but we were just calling out where people were, sort of where to focus, bits and pieces, stuff like that. And it was working really, really well for us, as you can see. Again, what the mistake that the team kept making, the enemy team, they kept trickling into the point, so they come in just 1s and 2s, which just made it ridiculously easy. But you're going to see here, we've pretty much come to the end of the game, and that is pretty much us smashing it on that one, which felt really, really good. So, just to give you an idea why this is my best game ever, I'm just going to talk you through my stats just briefly, which I'll bring up at the end. So, in that game, 64 eliminations, 34 final blows, 26 objective kills, 20,000 damage, 3,000 healing, 6 minutes on fire, 34 solo kills. Some people might not find that amazing, but for me, that is my best game by a long shot on Overwatch in competitive. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to click the like button. If you are new to my channel, please also don't forget to subscribe. And we will see you on the next one, guys. Take it easy. Peace.